So before we go into kind of 3 or 5 things to help organisations and teams go from chaos to calm, I want to touch on something that might feel a little controversial, but it's the kind of performative work that you and I have talked about a lot from either individuals or organisations. And what's the chaos that comes from that? So if you're doing it from a more performative perspective and just saying, we're going to have this inclusive culture, we're going to do this, what does it look like if it's performative? So how can people spot that to know when it's not quite genuine, I suppose?
Yeah. Well, let's take International Women's Day as an example. So what you'll find is that one day a year, which is 8th of March, people will do posters, they'll do interviews with women, they'll talk about how supportive they are and how they're helping. But you dig a bit deeper in that information, you'll find there's a gender pay gap. You'll find that there's no representation of women in board level or senior management level. There hasn't been any progression for women in a number of years. And yet the organisation is still celebrating the fact that they support women. And my advice is always do your inside work first and get that fixed. You don't need to promote and say, look how supportive we are of International Women's Day if you haven't done your work, because you're just going to get called out. And last year in the UK, there was a gender pay gap bot that called out organisations who were saying how supportive they are of International Women's Day and doing really these grand statements, and then getting called out. So why have you got such a big gender pay gap then, if you really care? And that's what we mean about doing work, and that's performative. It's tokenistic. And I always say that's more harmful than doing nothing at all.